Okay, so I'm getting this changer ready to do the video and list it. And so I thought of a couple of things that no one ever talks about. Okay, my number one issue is these two transit screws, and transit screws are a part of just about every manufacturer in the 70s, 60s. So, and what happens now is no one uses them. It's like they just exist. So, with the springiness of the turntable, it bounces around its whole entire trip, which consequently will cause issues with the whole mechanism and every setting. Okay, so that's the main thing. And I get these all the time. People never use this. I even ask them to use transit screws and include pictures in my emails, and I still get them all bouncing around and everything. So, and then just one note is like a friend of mine was helping another guy with setting up stereo, and he brought his turntable, which I sold him, to his buddy's house just in case as a backup. And so I said, "Did you put your transit screws in?" And he goes, "Well, I was only going 3 miles in my truck." And I said, "Okay, so you put the record changer in your truck on the seat for 3 miles. Well, that whole 3 miles, which could be, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, this changer, put it back down, was bouncing around." Because he goes, "Yeah, when I tried to set it up." Okay, see? He goes, "When I tried to set it up, the arm just did this and that." And I was like, "Okay, well, did you do your transit screws?" And he goes, "Well, it's just going 3 miles." And I was like, "Okay, well, guess what? Imagine that. And you're not even watching it, right?" So there's that. Okay, so no one uses transit screws. Okay, and also when people are shipping this, you have to realize that they are fragile, no matter what you may think or how rough people treat them. So that's something to always think about. And each piece should be wrapped really well and snugly, so the contents of the box doesn't move at all once it's finally packed. If you have to put like the brown packing paper around so that things don't move, and for just the padding, I would suggest a half-inch bubbles, which is the largest bubble wrap, and so that would keep things intact. And then on top of that, once they're in the box in different pieces, just use your brown paper, or basically the message I want to get across is use your transit screws. Like on duals, there's usually 3, and they, when you loosen them up, they make it easier to pull out the deck. On Magnavox, there's like the plastic black like arrow things, and usually you have to add, when you ship Magnavox, you have to add a screw to keep it so that the deck goes down. Okay, and the arrows in the Magnavox actually help you lift the deck out of the plinth. So they all have them, especially the BSR Panasonic type, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, things like, and this platter is extremely heavy. This is like a dual. So things like that, I'd probably pack separately and just put it, like, layer it. But also, with your platters, I take them down as well before I do the bubble wrap. So, and you can use painter's tape, which doesn't leave residue. And too many people use just packing tape, which is hellish to get off the residue. Okay, so there's that. Also, the other thing is that your dust cover, you should pack separately in the same box. Pack it separately. Wrap it and pack it separately, because people take them down to the base, and when they're taped down to the base, there's a lot of pressure on the actual plastic to the plinth, and you end up getting cracks. And that's like in 80% of the time, at least 80% of the time when I receive them, people have taped it. Okay, so it encounters that. It removes the stress when you just pack it separately as like a layer. Okay, and then a huge thing to remember too in our modern day is that at each, okay, with the carrier, say they go FedEx, there's 3 stops in FedEx carrier world before it gets to your house. So they put them on conveyor belts. So thing about it is, I think at the airport, these things are like turning and flopping around at each carrier stop. So if there's 3 stops, then this is quite a few each time that changes trucks. So you have to remember that too. So, you know, just make sure that the contents are all snugly packed, so that nothing moves around in the box, and you'll be set, you know, either way, whether you're selling it or receiving it or whatever. And if there are transit screws, it makes a huge difference. But, you know, the biggest message I want to say is that no one talks about this stuff. So I just thought I'd do a little no one talks about it video. Thanks.